I'm going to tread very lightly in these next few words. But this is for rabbis and teachers and people out there who are in the line of work of teaching. My Rebbe Berkowitz would tell us, you have no right to teaching an age if you don't remember what it was like to be that age. If you don't remember what it was like to be 10 years old, the jokes, the humor, the losing of your innocence a little bit at 10 because you're starting to figure stuff out a little bit. If you can't remember that, if you can't remember what it is to be 6 years old, and the joy of drawing, even in the middle of class, if you can't remember what it was being 6 years old and trying to say something to adults and them not understanding you because you don't speak the language yet, because you don't have a vocabulary yet, because your seichel hasn't kicked in yet, your brain is only 6 years old. So when it says, I don't like you, you're a bad Rebbe, that's not what he's saying. He's trying to communicate, I'm not in a good place right now, and I'm 6, and I'm expecting you to be the adult to make me feel better. And you decide to use your adult logic on the kid? That's what you're going to do. So many teachers that I hear so many times. Oh, really? You think you can talk to a teacher that way? Did the Chafetz Chaim talk that way? My 6-year-old kid has no idea. What's a Chafetz Chaim? I've told him stories. He's starting to put it together. Do you want to become a big rabbi one day? You don't think your father's embarrassed? A 6-year-old? Why would my father? What are you talking? The kid has no. And do you know what your kid said to me after I told him that? Your kid just looked at me and said, no, my father's not embarrassed. You know why he said that? Because all he did was mirror your own moronicy. Honestly, you expect a 6-year-old to hold that kind of weight in his brain? If you had asked a 6-year-old, what's your greatest accomplishment in his life? He's almost able to tie his shoes. Almost. And this is the one that you're expecting to have a logical conversation with. If a 6-year-old can ever get you upset, ever, so then I question your feeling for anybody. He's 6. He's an idiot. That's it. End of sentence. End of story. Anybody who can lose it and have to hit, have to do crazy to hurt, what are you doing? He's 7 years old. The moment a parent loses it on a child that age, all you're saying to your kid is, you won. Because now the only one in this room not acting their age is your Abba. You're 6. You're acting the exact way you're supposed to. I'm 39. How did I let a 6-year-old bring me down? I was a head counselor in camp for many years, and I would get many Rebbeim. Who would work with us in camp. Most of them were incredible Rebbeim. And some of them were great Rebbeim back in the 80s. And when they would come in, number one, the sign of a terrible Rebbe, constantly sending kids to the principal. If you can't handle them on your own, maybe it's time to start to look into becoming an insurance broker. You can't control your own class. Then I'm sorry, but you're letting 6-year-olds run your life. 1. 2, they would come in and the Rebbe would be offended. Do you know what he just said to me? When the Rebbe would come in seething. And then the move. I didn't say, quiet. You see, chutzpah. You see, when a Rebbe talks, I'm talking to Ari Bensoussan right now. Chutzpah, you can't talk in front of. Yeah, he could. Because he's 8. So no, he doesn't get it. No, you actually, I want to hear from the kid before I hear from you. And I want to hear from the kid, not in front of you, because honestly, If he has to talk in front of you, we're both going to have to call the parent and explain why he just wet his pants. So, therefore, but malicious, crazy. I don't know what happened. As parents, as teachers, if you don't learn to start to feel other people, mamash, feel them, feel them, feel them, feel their hurt, feel them. A kid is getting kicked from behind in class, and the kid turns around and makes a noise, and a Rebbe blames it on that kid. Are you kidding me? Were you never a child who was bullied that you can't see that? How blind are you? Do you know how many times that came to my office? Do you know how many times? How many blind bats came to my office? I question certain people who remain as Rebbeim sometimes. Because the reason why you're remaining as a Rebbe, I imagine, is to make a paycheck. But we know halacha is, you're not allowed to break the Torah for a pay. You're not allowed to, your hishtadlut to make money can't ever be to break the Torah. So certainly, your hishtadlut to make money shouldn't be to ruin Jewish neshamot. And it all comes from people who can't see. And you want to know why? It's not the Rebbe's fault. He's been burnt. Years and decades of parents who never showed him hakarat hatov. It's a terrible cycle. And for years, he's seen kids walking through the streets thinking, I'm the one who taught that kid Aleph Bet, and the parents never gave me so much as a thank you. And then when that kid becomes successful and the kid is buying houses left and right in LA, and the Rebbe can hardly put some money together, and the kid doesn't remember, doesn't show hakarat hatov, and the poor Rebbe for years and years got burnt. Everybody's at fault. Do you understand how deep this concept goes? Do you understand how incredibly important and why it's considered a tenet, why it's considered a foundational aspect of our religion?
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.